We're moving into the next segment that I do think that Dr. Terry kicked us off perfectly for, which is some very deep storytelling. Again, I do want to say we're about to openly share and talk about some pretty traumatizing things. As a comedian myself, I make jokes about hard stuff. I do that. And it's been interesting when I facilitate a room and I'm making a really dark joke. Sometimes it's triggered people. And so it's weird. It's like a heckling situation where they're like, no, don't keep saying it. I'm like, well, my healing is through talking about it this way. But I genuinely want to respect that the content you're about to see may be really emotional. So if there is anything that is too much for you, please feel free to step out, take a breath, because I want to have a safe space for these stories. I've had the honor of working in this capacity where I take traumatic stories and I turn them into advocacy and change. I started off as a kid who came from a traumatic childhood. And I ended up doing a one-woman show on it. And what I thought was going to be, a very narcissistic experience. I was like, oh, I'm just going to get to be on stage and talk about it. And I was like, that was 100%. I was like, I want to be a comedian. I want to do something. What am I going to talk about? What I didn't realize was that I was really genuinely doing some sort of an art therapy, unbeknownst to me, in my early 20s. And working your story, you get to navigate and pace your own healing through rediscovering the story. But when you share it, something else happens and the power shifts, because then you've given your cathartic experience to someone else. And I don't know if any of you watched any of those people up there and went, aha. Oh, it's not just me, I'm not alone. So you don't know who you're touching, and when you risk to tell a story, sometimes there's someone in the audience who gets to have a message and feel completely seen. So last year, I was asked to host this, and there was a story that I have been scared to tell. I wasn't going to tell it, and I thought, last year, I'm going to tell it at this one. I'm going to tell the scariest story that I have been too ashamed to tell anyone. And I got up here and I changed my mind. I did. I didn't do it. And it stuck with me. But it's my most private, personal. If I tell this story and I tell you what I did, I will be ruined. I will be. I don't even think my child, if she knows what happened, I don't think she'll forgive me. That's too much shame. I can't say it, and I don't know if she remembers it. So I didn't tell it. Flash forward, I've been working with maternal mental health now, and I started a program called Storyectomy, Get Your Story Out, right? And I have done it for 3 years now. At my I own a comedy club called The Crow. And I would do a storytelling experience where we would get 10 strangers together that all have a common theme, right? So I joined with maternal mental health now, and we did baby bumps. So 10 strangers would get together in a room, and I'd say, we all have some sort of maternal mental health story. What is it? We're gonna do a 6-week class. We're gonna meet once a week for 3 hours on a Tuesday night up in my little tiny comedy club in Santa Monica. And these strangers are gonna come together and they're gonna share. We all have very different maternal mental health stories, but we're gonna get really raw and really vulnerable, and we're all gonna start on a blank page. And 6 weeks from now, we're gonna take these stories and I'm gonna give you joke structures. And I'm gonna tell you how to do, like, legitimately turning the pain into funny, which I find is powerful. But also not just stand-up, getting down and dirty with the vulnerability and hitting those deep moments as well, because that's what I think storytelling can do. I know my time's up. I'm going to abuse I'm going to tell the story. I'm so sorry. And then I'm going to give it to you. So remember that story I didn't tell last year. So now I've got my third storyectomy cohort. I have 10 strangers in front of me. This is just a few months ago, okay? And And there was a part of me that wondered if I should, maybe if I'm gonna ask these 10 strangers to be completely vulnerable for 6 weeks, how dare I not start? How could I not go first? If I'm gonna create something, I better be as authentic as I'm saying I'm going to do. So I said, normally, I never tell this story, can I? I'm so scared, I've never told it out loud. And these 10 strangers said yes. I can't believe I am going to tell it, it's not that big of a deal, because I didn't know if I should, and then you get that sign, and we saw Monet's story. I too have a similar story that I have been scared to tell. I really wanted a baby. I really wanted a girl. No offense to boys. They're great. They're wonderful. But all I wanted was a girl. I got that beautiful girl, and she sucked. Horrible. That was it. And I told that story all the time. I was like, she's colicky. She's the worst. My postpartum depression isn't because of me. It's because she was the problem. Okay, because then I had a second baby, and I had a boy, and he was so easy. And I was like, see, it's her fault. It's not me. It's her. The story that I was too scared to tell everyone was that my postpartum was so bad that when she was 5 years old and now I had this other little baby who was easy, the rift between my daughter and I got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was getting to a point where I was like, this is not, similar to Monet's story, this is not the mother I'm supposed to be. I dreamed about being a mother. Why am I having this disconnect with my daughter? What has happened? And it got so bad that I was like, I need to get some therapy. I'm going to go through my insurance. I have an HMO. Let's see what therapist I get. I go to a therapist, and I walk in, and the first thing I say to her is, are you a mom? Are you married? Are you a mom? And she's like, nope, I'm single. I'm in my 50s. I'm so happy. I would never have kids. What's up? I'm like, oh my God, I feel like we're really on the wrong foot. And I was like, I don't think you understand. Like, my daughter is so bad, I want to throw her out the window. Like, it's so terrible. I can't even get her to brush her teeth. I legit, every single night I have to, and I'm like, I think that I'm required to brush your teeth. This feels like part of the deal. And I'm sitting there holding her mouth and trying to brush her teeth. That's what I'm supposed to do. And I completely unload to this woman. And she goes, do you think you're depressed? I was like, I am not depressed. I am dealing with a bad child. It is not me. How many times is it? It is her. And I go home, and 2 days later, my phone rings. And the therapist says, I just want to let you know I have reported you to CPS. It was one of those thoughts where I was like, is this HMO? If I had paid privately, would this woman had called me out? What is the system doing? And I don't know who to trust. And I don't know if you know what CPS, when that happens, it's an actual nightmare. And then you don't want to tell anyone, and then I don't know how to survive this. And it was the most shame, and I couldn't tell anyone, and I had to have my child interviewed, and the police come, and your pediatrician, and apparently now the dentist. Thank you. And I didn't know how I was going to survive this, and somehow I did. And we got through it. And it was horrible. And I said to these 10 strangers in this room, I finally said, I am someone who CPS came to investigate. And I'm scared if my daughter even holds this memory. I did find another therapist. I went to extreme therapy for 5 years. She was now 10, and I have this huge breakthrough with her. And all of a sudden, he was great. I got through it. I'm trying to speed through this because she was like, your time was up 5 minutes ago. So I have this breakthrough with my daughter to the point at which, I just want to brag, she and I are the best, okay? She is obviously who I was supposed to have in my world. This is my hero. I cannot believe it. Now, when I had been going through this previously, right when I had her, I counted. I looked it up, how many weeks till she goes to college. I did, and at that time I put it in, her birthday, March 20th, till she's 18. I'm assuming she's gonna graduate, and it'll be around August 20th. It said 936. 936 Saturdays until I could get rid of this kid. But now here I am, bonded with this child, and you're never gonna believe this. She just turned 18. I'm a survivor! Can postpartum count for 18 years? Forever. So here she is, and I tell this group of my 10 strangers in my storyectomy class, I go, you're not gonna believe this. Right now, in the middle of this group, she just turned 18 and she's going off to college, and my 936 Saturdays have dwindled down into just a few singles. And I'm freaking out, and now I don't want her to go. And the women in this group, they said to me, you know, Nicole, at the end of this thing, we're doing this 6-week workshop, I want you to get up on that stage and tell this story. And I said, no, we're doing the storytelling for you. I'm not gonna tell the story. I'm here to work your story. 6 weeks go through, and Mandy in the group with an IE, she makes it very clear, Mandy with an IE. She says, Nicole, tonight is the night of stories. Will you please tell yours? And I said, Mandy, no. You're telling your story along with the other 9 people. And she said, that's not fair. We won't do it without you. And she was like, do you need a sign? And I was like, I need a sign. You'll find one. 20 minutes to showtime. I open up my phone. What I haven't told anyone is that throughout this process, my aunt had died. And she left me a house. Yeah, I went from rags to riches. I don't want to brag, but like I'm gonna tell you guys, oh my God, house living, so much better than apartment living. Wow, amazing. But anyways, I get this house, and it closes on the weekend and the day of this show. And it comes through, and I see the email 20 minutes before I go on stage. And do you know what my address is? And I hadn't even realized it. 936. Wow. 936. So I got up there and I told my story. And it changed me. And getting to see Monet's story was the next, I was like, I'm not gonna tell that story. I need you to know we have to talk about it. So let's hold space and let's hear your stories. Let's be vulnerable together because you never know who needs to hear it. Shall we? So some of you have submitted. You're going to be able to, we're going to take some random people coming up here, but we did pre-vet a few. So it's always nice. I do love my stand-up comedy crew. And so it's nice to always start with a powerful storyteller and comedian herself. I've had the honor of getting to work with her before. She has a special that's going to be coming out, her one-woman show, which is based completely all about all the things that we're going to hear today. So to have a little snippet of a beautiful story, please welcome to the stage, DeHaley Hall.
Thank you, Nicole. How's for you? Hi, everybody. Oh, so great to be here. Yes, my name is DeHaley. I think Nicole would have, if we weren't friends, would have struggled with that. It's funny. It's funny because my parents actually were going to call me Africa, but not just in English, but the French version, which would have been a freak. So you would have been like, welcome a freak. Everybody, here's a freak. So DeHaley Hall, I'm sharing a table with maternal mental health now, and I'm so thrilled. I'm doing something called Pain into Punchlines, where if you're ready for that part of your journey where you want to take some of the pain that you've gone through and find the humor behind it, I feel like that has been the only way for me to process grief, process pain. And, you know, I'm a comedian, a television writer, a filmmaker, and Spadura is the comedy special that's going to be coming out in the fall about my journey trying to get knocked up. And, you know, when you're trying to get knocked up, like, mothers love to come out the woodwork to tell you, like, being a mom is the best and the hardest job in the world. But you just gotta relax and trust the process, okay? No matter how long it takes, just relax, relax, relax. And it could take years. Your life savings. It could destroy your marriage, your body, and self-esteem. But relax, relax, relax. It's so worth it. It's really intense, okay? And I was trying to relax, trying to remember it was so worth it. And I would get these ridiculous moments where people were trying to be helpful. Like when one of my girlfriends of the same age, she was like, you know how I got pregnant? I just did doggy style. Ma'am, if that worked, we'd have a whole litter of kids by now, okay? And so I'm a Buddhist, and my practice is about turning poison into medicine. A lot of the pain, this is exactly what we're talking about here, pain into power. The things, those nettles that Dr. King was talking about earlier, they can actually be of value to you. And I mean, the universe was like, you want a comedy career so bad, here's some infertility, write some jokes about that. And I did. I made Svadura. And when people have seen the show and seen the film, they've been like, how do you do that? I mean, the things that you were talking about were so hard. I mean, when I started Svadura, I knew 6 Black women in my life who had to get hysterectomies. After the 2 years of touring it and then filming it, I knew 16. And I still found a way to bring in that information, but still allow people to laugh through that pain. Because sometimes it can be very hard to take in information and feel like you're going to be triggered and not have a release on the other side. And that is why I developed Pain into Punchlines, this workshop. And a few weeks ago, on Mother's Day, I decided to do it. Because Mother's Day can be very triggering for people. There is no card in the Mother's Day aisle for it's complicated, okay? There's not, I checked, there's not. And so I was like, y'all, if you want a place to land on Mother's Day, on May 10th, and that's not a brunch spot, come over here. I'll have mimosas, we will make jokes together. And I tell you, friends, I'm doing the breathing exercise. I have like a balloon breathing exercise. I love it. It's so good. It's like, it's deep, you know, and I'm blowing this balloon. And then I realize that there's a full-on leak in the event space that I'm doing in. And then my balloon pops during their meditation exercise, and I realize, oh my gosh, this is so perfect. The water broke at my Pain into Punchlines Mother's Day edition. It was perfect. It was really perfect. And so anyway, I can't wait to talk to you all. You can find me over there in Table 7. I have a mini workshop with the Maternal Mental Health Conference in October. And I'm so honored to be with Dev, with Nicole, and with all of you. So before I leave, I just want to also say this together. Relax, relax, relax. It's so worth it. Thank you so much.
Keep it going for the Haley. Also, can we cancel Mother's Day? Can we just all agree? Because the truth is, yes, my children, I can't expect them for 24 hours to be so nice. It's asking too much, so let's just stop, okay? Because it just leads to problems. I almost divorced my son. Okay, next up. We have an author, an advocate, and a partner with Return to Zero Hope, one of today's sponsors. Inspired, hold on, I have to turn my page. Inspired by experiences with her own perinatal loss, Eileen has helped create spaces for remembrance, healing, community for grieving families. Please welcome to the stage, hold on, Eileen Rosette. Oh, yes, you can use that one. Absolutely.
Hello. I'm a whole different vibe. So I'm the author of the book To Tend and to Hold, Honoring Our Bodies, Our Needs, and Our Grief Through Pregnancy and Infant Loss. I wear quite a few hats. I'm a survivor of perinatal loss. I'm a mother to 3 living children. I am a therapist, a family therapist, a certified grief educator, a postpartum doula, and I am also a volunteer with the Bartesi, Return to Zero. My first pregnancy experience was very idyllic. Conceiving was easy. The gestation was just fine. I gave birth without medication to my daughter, Celine. Then I experienced 2 pregnancy losses after her. And I wanted to share a little bit about Celine's birth because it helped me to know in my experiences of pregnancy loss that I was giving birth. I was given medication in the first instance to self-administer at home. And my doctor, who was amazing, great bedside manner, really held space for me. And in hindsight, I realized it would have been helpful if she had framed it as, you're gonna go home, you're gonna give birth. And I knew what birth had felt like the first time. So I knew in the midst of that first experience of pregnancy loss what was happening, and I was able to tell myself, oh, you're giving birth right now, you're having contractions. Fast forward, 2018, I was living in Santa Monica, and I had this vision come to me. A small group of women standing at night under a full moon. Someone referenced this kind of imagery where natural birthing, right? Dr. King, I think you did. So this vision of a small group of women standing around a small body of water, like a pond. It's nighttime, full moon. They were looking at the water, at candles floating. There was a candle for each of their losses and a candle for each of them. That was a vision that came to me, and I felt like I really wanted to see that in my life, and it happened. I hosted a number of what I called our womb loss events, these elevated dining experiences with a personal chef and beautiful homes in LA, because I wanted other women to know that you deserve to feel seen, to feel heard, to feel held, because these losses happen in our bodies or soon after we give birth. And in hosting those dinners, I came to know I wanted to capture the essence of those gatherings in a book so that women all over the world and birthing people all over the world could feel what we felt, to feel seen, heard, and held. And I'd like to read a short excerpt. Late one night, years after experiencing my womb losses, I came across an online essay by Mother Lee that shifted something deep inside me. In this powerfully heartfelt and heartbreaking letter from a mother to her unborn child, the author writes, "The English language refers to the incident as a quote-unquote miscarriage. The Filipino and Bicol languages, on the other hand, labeled me as a woman with an unborn child, as nakunan, nakwanan. These roughly translate into someone from whom something was taken away." The moment I read this, it was as if time stopped. Despite being the daughter of Filipino immigrants, immersed in the sounds of my family's mix of English and Tagalog, these terms were new to me, and yet these words spoke to a deep truth within me. My doctors and midwives reassured me that, as with the majority of early pregnancy losses, my losses were likely due to chromosomal abnormalities and therefore beyond my control. Yet part of me still carried feelings of remorse, since it was my body that had been carrying these pregnancies, and because it was my body, it seemed there was more I could have done. The language used to describe my kind of loss seemed to imply as much, and that the onus lay solely with me, especially with the prefix mis, which means wrongly or badly. Miscarriage, miscarried, lost. I had a miscarriage. I miscarried. I lost my babies. As if I had made a mistake when I had a miscarriage. As if I had done something wrong when I miscarried. as if I had been irresponsible or absent-minded when I lost my babies, as if they could be found if I just tried hard enough, even though they were in my body all along. When I found this essay, or when it found me, I sat staring at it for a long moment. And in that pause, the part of me that carried remorse came to the surface. She read and reread those 3 sentences, awed that such words existed to describe her, awed by what felt like a gentle reframing of her loss. She too was nakunan. I too was nakwanan. In these words, we felt seen, we felt known, and with that, we felt relief as the edges of our remorse softened. I was and am someone with unborn children. I was and am someone from whom something was taken away. These words from the languages of my ancestors found me and held me when my native tongue seemed to blame me. It was a powerful, quiet moment that left a deep impression.
You're a natural comedian. Her opening line was amazing. The mood switch, give it up for Eileen. That's great. We have the next person, Marie Rivera, who many of you may remember from the Imperfect Mothers Club. Marie has become a powerful advocate for perinatal mental health justice throughout Los Angeles County, courageously sharing her story to help break stigma and support other families. After Marie, we'll also briefly hear from her mother, offering a power intergenerational perspective on caregiving, healing, and family support. Please welcome Marie. Do you want?
Okay.
Whichever one you want.
Look, I'm a student, so I'm used to being right in front. Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. It's so great to be taking space with you again for the second time, hopefully. For others, for the first, welcome. I'm Marie Rivera. My story starts at 18. I decided with my husband that we wanted to have babies. I was told by my doctor that I had some pre-existing medical conditions that made that a little bit difficult. It was 8 miscarriages before I conceived my daughter. And again, I went into this pregnancy extremely thankful because of all of the loss that I had experienced prior. I was really sick for a long time within my first pregnancy. Of course, I was told by my doctor that this was normal and that I had the weight to lose, so that I would be fine. So the 64 pounds that I lost within my pregnancy was normal because, again, I was heavy and I had the extra weight that I didn't need. My birth was extremely traumatic. Nobody was ready for me. There were no residents, doctors available. So I was physically pushed on my back by the nurse and was told to stop pushing, to stop listening to my body. And I was getting yelled at like, nobody's ready for you. I cannot deliver this baby. I'm a nurse. It was amazing. It was great. When the doctor finally came in and was like, everybody stop. When you need to push, you push. I got her out in 3 pushes, right? So I just needed some support. Didn't get that, that's okay. I felt disassociated. Nobody told me that that could happen. Nobody told me that a traumatic birth could lead up to a disassociated feeling. They put my daughter on me, and what other women have talked about, feeling instantaneous love and affection, I didn't have. I didn't feel. And I could not recognize that in that moment. In that moment, I was more like, I have a human being, and now here it comes. I need to take care of her. And then the lactation specialists came in, the lactation nurses, who continuously were peer pressuring me into breast is best. Your baby's gonna suffer. You need to breastfeed. My daughter was born at 10 o'clock in the morning. It was until 7 p.m. that my mom finally intervened with my daughter being hysterical for several hours, and was like, you need to give her the bottle now because this baby has not eaten anything and she's suffering. I don't think that it clicked with my mom just yet, what that experience led for me. It was 3 months after I came home that I finally was like, Mom, something's wrong with me. I could not be left alone with my daughter. I couldn't. They were like, oh, you're home. She's so cute. You take her. Oh, you love the way she's dressed today. You take her. I didn't know what was wrong. I didn't have my understanding of postpartum prior to me getting pregnant with my own experience was that postpartum looked like a mother trying to harm their child, having an intent to harm their child. I didn't have the language. I didn't have the education. I am Mexican American. In my culture, you do not talk about mental health. You go and talk to God. You pick yourself up and you get strong and you keep going. There is no mental health, right? That's my first experience. Amazing. Second experience, my second pregnancy. I got diagnosed with hyperemesis. I lost 78 pounds. I was pregnant during COVID and went through the whole pregnancy isolated. I was sent home from the ER 3 times, even though I told them I could not eat, could not drink anything. 78 pounds I lost that time. And doctors didn't care. It took one nurse one day who was a mother herself that was like, this is not normal. Let's get you on home care. I found out that my ketone levels were so severe, my daughter was eating my bones for about 2 weeks. Yeah, so it took me 3 months of home care to stabilize. I like sharing my stories side by side with my pregnancies because I like to really reflect that spectrum of perinatal mental health that we're talking about, right? It happened for me postpartum with my first one. And it was triggered by other people continuously pushing breast is best. My second, I was prepared because I got postpartum the first time and I was like, we're not doing it again. Nobody told me it can happen during pregnancy, guys. Nobody was like, hey, you can get depressed. On the day that I came home, it was the second day of home care. My husband set up the bath. And I remember looking at him and pleading with him, please walk out the door. Give me 15 minutes alone because I want to die. I'm done. My daughter is better off without me. You're better off without me. I cannot bring this baby into this world. I don't have the strength. I don't have it in me. And of course he didn't. And I'm happy that he didn't. Because when I gave birth to my second, I didn't get postpartum. And holding her and finally experiencing what all these women that I have met in my life tell me, they put that baby on you and it fixes you. And she did. So I'm here today sharing my story because, again, we have things that happen not universally, right? Every woman's story is different, but our struggle is the same. So thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you. And if I can, Nicole, it would really be an honor for me to introduce my mother, Alma, who is also here to share her story today. So thank you so much. You got this. You got it. We can do 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 it.
It really pisses me off to hear your story because I work for children's services. When I got pregnant the first time, I didn't know all of this was happening to me. It was through the courage of my daughter to come and talk about this that I realized that I suffered postpartum depression as well. Mine was very severe because I was having homicidal thoughts. I wanted my baby to stop crying. I didn't know how to take care of her. The people that were there trying to help me, I didn't want the help. I wanted the help. And her coming over and telling me, Mom, you gotta do this. I talked to my former supervisor and she warned me, do you wanna put your career on the line? Do you want your clinical skills to be questioned? Because I wanted to share my story, but I'm scared. It's too shameful we're judged, and it really angers me that our department still to today is so insensitive. I've been with the department for 33 years, and I've worked with my families to make sure that anything that I felt, I would help them. But you made me, I was sitting there crying hearing your story, because it sucks. This is not something that, when we need help, why aren't we helping? Why do we still continue to shame it and you're a bad parent? No, we're not. We just need the support. So thank you guys. That's my story. I'm scared, but I don't care anymore.
Thank you. See, so yeah, I guess I'm glad I shared too. I have a script to read, but thank you. I don't know. I always feel like, why are they asking me to do this? I never quite understand it. So, thank you.